What we are going to be doing today is going over the love languages, your love language, and how your childhood trauma needs to be healed through that love language. Because what you may not know is that your love language is a direct result of what you lacked as a child. So, because of that, now you require that as an adult, and that is some inner child healing that needs to be done. Now, we're not saying that you have to give up your love language. We're not saying it's going to make you hate your love language. What I'm saying is that we choose our love languages based on how we grew up and how we were affected as children. My love language is quality time. I felt I had abandonment issues. So I felt like my parents were not there for me, right? So also the negative side of that is you're extra clingy sometimes, or you just want to be left alone. So there is no happy medium. There is either I want to be in your skin or I want you to leave me the fuck alone. So there you have it. So I might have to bleep that out because, yeah, I don't know if it's restricted. I have notes here so that I won't forget what I'm talking about. So if you see me looking down, that is why. Let me get a pencil out because sometimes if I'm getting messages during that, I will add it in. So the first one that I'm going to start with is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation, this is your love language. Now, again, there are several tests online that you can take to find out what your love language is. And that is what I did a few years ago. I did that test and it made sense, right? Quality time being mine. But little did I know until I started healing my inner child trauma, why that was my love language. So that's what we're getting into today. And then also, you'll be asked to journal about that experience, right? So that you can work through it and you can heal it. Again, we're not trying to get rid of your love language because your love language is your love language. We're just trying to get rid of the trauma that is around that love language, or move through the trauma so that you won't be triggered by those things any longer. If you are triggered in the future by those things, then there's still more healing that needs to be done. But usually you know that you have healed through it when that thing no longer triggers you. Now, this is just one thing. There's a whole plethora of things that can bring up your childhood trauma or bring up the inner child healing that needs to be done. This one thing is not it. Believe me, you were a child for how many years? So there's a lot of trauma there, whether you know it or not. I didn't think my childhood was that bad until I started doing my inner child healing work and realized how bad it really was. And the mask that I placed on myself so that I would not have to deal with that trauma, or so that I could move through that trauma without being affected, right? But in realization, I was truly being affected. But okay, let's get into it. Words of affirmation. So if you're someone who love language is words of affirmation, it's possible that you did not receive those words. You did not receive that, like, you're beautiful, you're loved, or I love you, or good job, well done. You know, you may have experienced verbal abuse. You may have been someone that was told you're ugly, you're stupid, you're dumb. People just didn't show up for you in the way that you needed them to. So you either experience negative words to yourself, so you verbal abuse, or just a lack of positive words. Some people, they're not talked down to, but they're not given those positive words of reinforcement either. You know how they say you have to tell children whose father are not in the home, whose young women whose fathers are not in the home, you got to constantly tell them they're beautiful, they're loved and things, because that man that was supposed to be there for them is not. I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me. That man that was supposed to be there for them is not. And so they feel like they may not say it on the surface, but internally they feel like he didn't choose to be with me. It's got to be something wrong with me. I got to be ugly. I got to be this. I got to be that. So those words of affirmation are something that you require in a relationship. And make sure that with any of these love languages, as you're requiring that in your relationship, you're giving that to yourself. Because what you need to know is that if you're with someone who is not giving you those words of affirmation, it's because you're not giving them to yourself. So make sure you're looking in the mirror daily and telling yourself, you're great, you're beautiful, you did a good job. You're hyping up your flaws, or you're hyping up those things that you love about yourself, and not putting yourself down for the flaws that you're not able to fix, or the flaws that you don't have the ability to fix. So the same thing, I don't know. So make sure you're acknowledging your compliments. Tell yourself you're amazing, you're beautiful, you are worthy. So with that, I do have a journal prompt. So with that journal prompt, it's like, think of your most recent accomplishment and write about it, and tell yourself how amazing you are. In writing that out, just reread that regularly. Give your own self those words of affirmation, and walk your own self through that process. Excuse me. Another thing you can do is sit in a mirror and give yourself positive words of affirmation. I already said to do that daily, but at the end of this video, I would love for you to go sit in the mirror and talk to yourself. Tell yourself that you are beautiful. Tell yourself that you are amazing. Therefore, you won't look for that validation outside of you. You don't need no one to tell you that, because you know you are that, right? You've told yourself that. And even if you haven't convinced yourself that you are those things, that might be something like we may have to do a deeper dive, right? So, and that's where the sessions come in at. So if that is something that you need and you require, you can book an appointment with me, and we can look deeper as to why it's hard for you to move through that. Now, once you have done your journal prompt, now it's time to release the trauma around that love language. So what you're going to do is write a letter to yourself, and telling yourself that you apologize to yourself for not feeling those ways about yourself, or not speaking that way to yourself, and let yourself know that going forward that you are your biggest support system, and that you will be telling yourself those things, and that you are amazing, you are great, and move through that. Now, once you're done with that letter, because this is a letter to your inner child, let me get some water. Because this is a letter to your inner child, what you're going to do is you're going to take that paper, you're going to fold it away from yourself, right? Fold it away from yourself. Now, because this is an inner child letter, this is the only kind of letter you do like this, is your inner child letter. You're going to take that paper from your right hand to your left hand. You're going to open it back up and read it. At this point, when you're reading it, there may be tears flowing, right? It's fine. There also may be emotions and feelings. Sit in those emotions, feel them, and then move through them. Once you're done, take the paper outside and burn it. You can burn it in a bowl. You can burn it in like one of those aluminum pans that you take to the potlucks or whatever, disposable pans. So burn it in one of those pans. I find that taking it away from my home and burning it is even better. It burns so much faster. If you have problems with it burning, it could be you're not ready to release it. And then you may want to sit again. Continue to burn the paper, but if it had a lot of trouble burning, you may want to sit in those emotions again and make sure that you are truly ready to release those, right? And then once you're done burning it, you return those ashes to the earth, and we move forward. Okay. The next love language that we're going to talk about is acts of service. Y'all, I have there's 5 love languages. Why do I only have 4 pieces of paper here? Give me, I'll find it in a second. Okay, so acts of service. So, acts of service, if your love language is acts of service, then it's possible that your basic needs were not met. You experienced some type of neglect, like your food, water, or shelter was always threatened. Clothing, your security, stability, love, friendships, that nothing was stable. So your acts of service is that, when people do things for you, you feel like that's love. And it's really just someone being kind, right? Some people just grow up knowing to do things for other people. So in doing that, it's not you equate people doing things for you as love, and that's not what that is. They need to show you love in other ways besides just act of service. Now that's good that they do things for you, but some of the biggest manipulators will treat you bad and then buy you flowers. That's an act of service, and now you're thank you. No, they just knew how to manipulate you. So you don't want to allow that trauma to pull the wool over your eyes of what that actually is. So it's okay if you still require acts of service, but pay attention and understand where that is coming from. Make sure it is done with the purest of heart. And then also, on the other end, I've had it where, okay, as a giver and a receiver, right? So as a receiver, I like quality time. As a giver, is acts of service. However, those acts of service that I was doing was so that you would stick around. So now that I understand that, I still do acts of service, but I question why I'm doing the acts of service. Is this somebody that I cherish and I just don't want them to leave me because of my abandonment issues? Or am I doing this because, hey, I really feel good about doing this for someone. I just want to be of service. And that's perfectly fine. Just make sure it's balanced. So, So in this, I would say reparenting yourself with acts of service is like being more consistent with yourself, being punctual. Don't take your own self for granted, and make sure you're asking for help when you need it, right? Do those things that you expect people to do for you, or that like buy yourself flowers, right? Buy yourself flowers so that when other people buy you flowers, it's nothing to you. Like it doesn't make your clothes fall off. How about that? You deserve flowers. You deserve that, right? People buy you lunch. Everybody got to eat. So you deserve that. You deserve to be treated nice, right? And make sure you're telling yourself, you deserve everything that you receive, and without feeling the obligation to return any favors, because they did that out of the kindness of their heart. If they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart, then you don't want it anyway, right? We may take it, but we don't necessarily want it. We don't need it. We don't require it. And that is where you need to make sure you are, that you're not requiring these things in order to feel loved. You're just loved, right? And people do nice things for you. And you can manifest that. Manifest people doing nice things for you. Now, hey, until you start doing your inner child healing work, your manifestations may not stick like you want them to. But hey, you're on the right track, right? So let's look at the journal prompt for that one. What is one thing you can start to do consistently today and going forward for yourself? Simple as every week I'm going to buy myself new flowers. That's one I may start doing. Now, I buy flowers regularly from my ancestors, but I don't buy them for myself. Um, what I do buy for myself is a lot of arts and craft stuff because I love doing arts and crafts. So I make my own jewelry and stuff. So I love going out and buying new things for myself. Um, what is something else? You consistently take yourself for a walk. Take yourself to the movies. I used to take myself out on dates all the time, at least once a month. That was my thing. I would take myself out once a month. I'm gonna get back to doing that. But I just relocated and I'm trying to get acclimated to the city and everything. But taking yourself out on dates, take a good book with you. You know, don't. Some people feel weirded out sitting in restaurants by themselves. Listen, if you can't enjoy your own company, how are you going to have somebody else enjoy your company? Nobody else is going to enjoy your company. You can't be by yourself. Learn to be by yourself sometimes. So be consistent with yourself. Do the things that you would love for someone else to do for you. You want someone else to pay to get your nails done? Are you paying to get your nails done? Like, that's not something that I would require only because, one, I'm allergic to the stuff. But also, I don't do that for myself. So I'm not requiring you to do that. However, if you do that, it's a bonus. However, it's not a bonus enough to make me swoon like, okay, I deserve to get my nails done because I'm a good time. And a good time, let's move on. Not that, but let's move on. So yeah, now in your letter to yourself for that one, same thing. You're gonna sit down, you're gonna write a letter to your inner child. You're gonna let them know that they deserve these things. You apologize to yourself for not doing these things for yourself. And sit in those emotions and move through them. Again, you take that letter outside, burn it. Well, you're gonna fold it away from yourself, open it up, and you move it from your right hand to your left hand. Open it up, read it back to yourself. Then you're gonna fold it away from yourself again, take it outside, burn it. Best to take it outside, away from your house, and burn it, because I say away from your house, not like it's a fire hazard or anything like that, because it's a little piece of paper and I would think you would know how to burn, not in your house, but away from your house. But the further you take it away from your house, what I've learned is that it burns better, only because you're removing that energy from your home, and burning it gives it the visual representation that it is leaving your energy space, right? So then you return those ashes to the dirt or to the earth and move on from it. Now, again, if those triggers come up for you, then it's time to sit in those emotions and work back through them. All right. So that is acts of service. The next love language that we're going to talk about is receiving gifts. Those who value gifts may have felt unseen or unappreciated or lacked a sense of being cared for through tangible expressions of love. So, again, this is very close to the other one, the act of service. Receiving gifts. People buy you things because they know you feel love. People buy you things because they know that whatever they did to you, that will erase it. You have to make sure that the gifts you're receiving is not overshadowing any type of disrespect you receive from that person. So, you have to make sure that you're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Attributing? That's what I'm hearing. I don't even know what that word means, I don't think. I have to look it up to make sure I'm using it in the right spot. You have to make sure you're not comparing the gifts that you're receiving to any form of love, in the sense of that's all you require. A gift makes everything better. It doesn't. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. Sure, they can be your best friend, but it won't erase or it won't make me feel any different about you because you can spend money. That doesn't do it for me. And I do know someone who actually people used to buy them gifts because they knew that was the way to them, because they felt that person was superficial. So they would buy them gifts. And then once that person realized that these people were buying them gifts just to pacify them, they got offended. Well, that's how you show that person to treat you. That buying you a gift is all you needed to get your respect, all you needed to calm you down. It was all you needed to drop your clothes. So you have to make sure that the gifts you're receiving are from that person's heart, and understand that whether they get you a gift or not, you are worthy. Now, if they get you a gift, you're like, hey, I deserve this because I'm worthy, and because my what was I about to say? Divine source said that I'm worthy of it. I'm a child of God, so I deserve these gifts, right? The journal prompt is create a list of things you're grateful for regarding yourself. So make sure that this is a self-centered journal prompt. So a self-centered grateful list. So because what we do is when we do lists of why we're grateful, we get more of those things. We get more of that stuff that we're grateful for. Oh, I'm grateful for this home. Well, next time you about to get a bigger home that costs less than the home that you're in. So, being grateful for the things that you have increases the things that you're going to be getting. So make sure that you're grateful for the smaller things so that they can become bigger things. And make sure that you understand that you are worthy for all those things. Again, like I said on the other two, that you're going to write yourself a letter forgiving yourself for not treating yourself better, acknowledging where you went wrong, and also creating a plan for the future of how you're going to handle yourself. And then again, you're going to fold that letter away from you, put it in your right hand, move it to your left hand, open it up, read it out loud to yourself, fold it away from you again, and then take it outside and burn it to give yourself that visual representation of that energy leaving your space. And return those ashes to the earth and move forward. Again, if you are triggered again, or you feel triggered by that trauma, then there's still more work to be done. The next love language that we're going to talk about is physical touch. You may have experienced lack of physical affection or comfort in childhood, potentially including trauma or abuse. So those who like physical touch, it could be one or two things. You could be someone who lacked those hugs and kisses and all that stuff. You didn't get those things, those warm, fuzzy feelings from your parents. Or you're somebody who was abused and you just want a gentler touch now. You require gentle touches because of the abuse you received as a child. And again, we need to just release that trauma around that love language. Give yourself hugs, give yourself pats on the back, appreciate yourself. Create yourself a routine of just giving yourself hugs and telling yourself how great you are. Make sure you're looking in the mirror when you're doing it. You're giving yourself the warm hugs that you never got. Because remember, inner child work is basically us reparenting ourselves, giving ourselves the things that we didn't receive in childhood so that we can move forward in adulthood properly, or with more of an open heart. The journal prompt for that is, when was the last time you were hugged? How did it make you feel? This one may be a tearjerker for you, which is fine. That just means there's trauma around it. That just means you have to work through that trauma. Again, make sure You write that letter to your inner child, acknowledging the issue, apologizing to yourself for creating or for allowing that issue to control you for so long. Make a plan to move forward. Again, it is okay if physical touch is your love language. It is okay to want those hugs and require those hugs. Some of us need a hug a lot, right? But you just want to make sure that this hug is not, or that this physical touch is just not solely a trauma response, and that it is it's something that just feels good, and that if you don't get it, you won't lose it, because guess what, you're doing it for yourself. And again, people reflect back to us who we are to ourselves. So if you're not giving yourself hugs every day, why should anybody else give you hugs? If you don't appreciate yourself every day, why should anybody else appreciate you? You have to start thinking of things that way. You have to give yourself the things that you require others to give you. And people, I've heard that discourse online a lot. It was like, oh, you want a Chanel bag, you want this, that, and that, and you can't even afford to give that to yourself. Let's start with the smaller stuff. Telling yourself you're pretty. Telling yourself you're loved. Just small things. Those small things will turn into bigger things, right? But you don't want to overlook the little things in life that you're not even doing for yourself. Forget the big stuff. Anybody can buy a bag. Anybody can buy a pair of shoes. But how many of us are truly feeling loved by ourselves? How many of us can truly be by ourselves? You know? So you just want to make sure you're doing those things for yourself, and that anybody else that comes to your life is now taking that example from you. Because what are you doing? Teaching people how to treat you by treating yourself the way you want to be treated by others. Okay? All right. So the last love language is quality time. If you prioritize quality time, you may have been neglected or lacked consistent attention and availability, which can translate into you having abandonment issues, which is mine. I don't like to be left. I have abandonment issues, right? I worked through a lot of my abandonment issues, and I understand that people are now in your life for a reason and a season. And I do understand that, and I don't care how long they've been in your life. I've had people removed out of my space because our paths are just different. And I'm okay with that now. I'm very much okay with that now. Very much okay. I have to keep convincing myself that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those people, because when I look at the bigger picture, I choose me. I choose me. Them being in my life is hindering my growth, right? Because I'm going this way and they're going that way, so we're pulling each other back because we are no longer compatible. And now my growth is stunted, your growth is stunted, because we choose to choose each other over growth. If a person's not adding to you, they're subtracting from you, okay? So make sure that each person that comes into your life is added value, and that value continues to grow over time. Once that value stops growing, then they're probably no longer compatible. This goes for family too. This goes for family too. So you can get to a place of, hey, we just have different paths, and I'm okay with going this way and you going that way. Now we may round it back and meet up again, and our path may cross each other again. But in this moment, I gotta choose me. So that is what that looks like to heal from that issue. So to heal from quality time, requiring quality time, is understanding that there are some people who just are going to leave, and it's okay, because that means that your purpose and their purpose no longer align, right? So how do we work through releasing abandonment issues. We show up for yourself. Show up for you. Don't look for nobody else to show up for you. Like, I've been seeing a lot, it's graduation season, so I've been seeing a lot of videos of children or people looking for their family in the crowd, right? I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing that because they're smarter children. That's not what I'm saying. It's just an analogy. Stop looking for people in the crowd to be there for you. Who's there? You are. Be proud of yourself in that moment. Be there for you. Be present. Stop looking for who's not there. Be present for you, right? Ask yourself, why do you fear being alone? Sit with yourself and figure out why you fear being alone. It's okay not to want to be alone, but understand that alone time is sometimes good. Especially when you're on a journey, a spiritual journey, you have to go into hermit mode at times. And it gets lonely, especially when you're doing healing work, it gets lonely. But you come out of it so much better, so much better. So make sure you're spending time with yourself. And the journal prompt for that is, how can I show up for myself today and every day and hereafter? Every day hereafter, I'm sorry. So how can I show up for myself today and every day hereafter? Now that's a question for you to answer. The inner child letter, the letter to your inner child would be, you addressing the abandonment issue that you have. You maybe exploring where that started and releasing that energy from you. So you're going to write that letter, apologizing to your inner child, acknowledging what took place, or acknowledging the issue, creating a plan to move forward from that issue. And then again, you're going to take that letter, fold it away from you, take it from your right hand to your left hand, open it back up, read the letter, because when you read those words on the paper, it hits different than you just writing them. When you're writing them, yeah, you are emotional, you feel it. But when you stop and take the time to read what you wrote, it hits a lot different. And you can feel those emotions and understand how to release them at that point. So you release those emotions by, again, once you read that letter out loud to yourself, you're going to fold it away from yourself again, take it outside and burn it and return the ashes to the earth. And that gave you a visual representation of that energy leaving your space. So guys, that is the 5 love languages and how to journal about them, and also how to release the trauma around those love languages, and also how to start giving yourself that attention that you require from other people. Because again, if we don't treat ourselves good, we can't expect others to treat us good, right? So just to go back over the things that I offer as far as inner child healing, I have 3 different sessions you can book with me. One is a 1 session where we call your inner child forward and we find what you need in that moment. The second one is the package of that 1 session. So now you have a package of 4 sessions where we will be calling your inner child forward, doing journal prompts, and going over the information from the previous meeting to see how things are going forward. And also you will get journal prompts and we call your child forward and see what they need in that moment or how they want to continue to move forward. And then the third session is a 90-minute session, and that one is where you will we will do the same thing that we do in this one. We will call your inner child forward, find out what they need in that moment to move forward, as well as we will do some energy work where I will move the energy around so that we can get things moving a little bit quicker. Now, when I get to moving energy around, there will be some things that will need to be changed on the 3D plane. I'll be moving energy around in the spiritual sense, and you will be required to do the work in the physical sense. So you may cry out of the blue. You may experience a certain movements within the body, your emotions will begin to flow differently. Let's put it like that. You will be crying and don't know why you're crying. Things may change around you, right? So, and that is to help you release the trauma. The next thing that I offer, again, if you're someone who likes to work alone and don't want to sit with anybody and talk about your feelings, I have the ebook on my site, Reclaiming Joy, Healing Childhood Wounds and Finding Inner Peace. And that ebook, I think, is $19.99 on my site for a limited time. If you put in HEAL 33, you would get a $5 discount off of that book. Again, the coupon code is HEAL, HEAL 33. And that will give you $5 off that book. I will put my website below. Then the other thing is the Inner Child Healing Circle support group, where you may not want to sit down with me, but you would like to sit down in a group setting and maybe talk about and hear how other people are working through their inner child issues. The requirement that group will be held either in Discord or through Zoom. I haven't completely decided yet, but you will be granted access to the Inner Child Healing Circle on my Discord as well as the Zoom courses. It's just that when you purchase the book, you have to let me know that you're interested in the Healing Circle, and I will add you to the Healing Circle in that time. Because some people may purchase the book and don't want to be involved in the circle. But if you purchased the book previously and you want to be involved in the circle, you can be. Or you can go purchase it and then send me a message letting me know you purchased it and you want to be involved in the Healing Circle. Okay? And then the last thing, again, there will be a release of a course. It's a 6-week Inner Child Healing Intensive. And that is where we're going to get down to the real nitty gritty. We're going to address the issues. We're going to show you how to work through those issues and so that you can grow. Important about your healing your inner child. Your inner child controls your passion, your desires, your happiness, and your joy. And without healing your inner child, you will be stuck or you will be having a hard time moving through these processes because they control everything. One thing about me is that I forgot that I wanted to be a teacher. And when people talked about, as an adult, talked about me being a teacher, like, oh, you're a teacher, you should be a teacher. And I'm thinking like, I don't want to be no teacher. But truthfully, as a child, that's what I wanted to be, a teacher. I didn't remember that. And I didn't understand that passion until I started doing the work to heal my inner child. And it all came back, the memories. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then now my focus is inner child healing, because in order to unlock your passion, you need to heal your inner child. They control everything. They control your manifesting. They control your growth. So make sure you're doing the work to heal your inner child. I will go ahead and end the video here, and I will talk to you later. Bye.